Welcome to the Enmanji Buddhist Temple monthly Shotsuki Hoyo service for the month of December. This service is in memory of all of those family members, friends, and others who have passed on in this month. The founder of our school of Buddhism, Shinran, once said that we are all connected like brothers and sisters, parents and grandparents in the whole cycle of existence. This is a good time to reflect on that, a good time to recall that were it not for those people who are foundational to our own existence, we would have no existence at all. Today's service will be conducted by our supervising minister, Rev.Dennis Fujimoto, from the Buddhist Temple of Alameda. Reverend Fujimoto will now present the Hyobyakumon adoration.
Hyobyakumon. Today, on this occasion of our Shotsuki service, members of the Enmanji Buddhist Temple have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their beloved.
I will now read the names of the honorees for the month of December. Yasuko Kamioka, Makio Kawaoka, Tatsujiro Matsumoto, Sekyo Matsuoka, Chiji Oka, Sakuemon Okumura, Nao Otamura, Toshimatsu Otani, Yoshiyuki Sen, Harue Otani, Chieko Sugioka, Scott Tsuyoshi Uryu, Shujuyo Ueda, Toshito Ueda, Wataru Yamakawa, Tom Yasuda, George Hiroshi Yoshioka, Paul Otani, Tom Mukaida, Vicky Matoba Epling, Eileen Hamamoto, George Kazumi Matsumoto, Sakuzo Mike Okumura, Chester Hamamoto, George Motoyuki Kikuchi, Sam Sumio Yamasaki, Sherry Yokoyama, Hitoshi Kobayashi, Norman Olson, Alice Misao Okubara, Don Morikawa, Ikotaro Seko, Makoto Ito, Jin Saburo Sugihara, Hiroshi Taniguchi, Yoshio Yasuda, Yonezo Kikuchi, Walter Reitenauer, Marcel Tabata, Kei Matsuda, William Otani. Naman Dabsu, Naman Dabsu, Naman Dabsu, Naman Dabsu, Naman Dabsu. Reverend Fujimoto will continue the service with chanting. For those of you who would like to join in with the chanting, a PDF copy of the purple Shin Buddhist service book can be accessed from the same site as this service. Today's chanting will begin with Sambujo, the three respectful callings, found on page 24 of the service book. Then continue with the first 10 pages of Amida Kyo, the Amida Sutra, on pages 103 to 113. This will be followed by the Nembutsu Echo on pages 134 and 135.
With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages. Namo Kie Butsu, Namo Kie Ho, Namo Kie So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda. Jo 一歩如来理有道上人空海世大あらかん修正知識長老者理法マカモ剣連マカカ書マカカ千年マカクチラリハタシュリアンダガナンダアナンダラゴラキョモンハダイビンズルハラダカルダイマカコヒナハクラヌルダニョゼト初代弟子病床菩薩マカサモンジュシリオジアイタボサケンダカダイボサ上昇人ボサヨニョゼト初代ボサ釈大観人と無量大祝二次文語長老者理法十世財法果樹万六分道う世界妙安極楽合道無分語阿弥陀根現在説法者理法移動が光明意極楽合国修上無宿単住昇楽光明極楽理法極楽国道修南樹七十羅網七十五樹改正司法修相異尿税公非国妙安極楽者理法極楽国道無執法知悪毒水十万語中地帯順に根社富士四辺街道根言ルリアリ五条上老各役位根言ルリ アリシャコ釈州名の二言直視地中蓮華大尿車輪小式小公王式陽公釈式釈公白式白公微妙公見舎利法国羅国土長寿尿税功徳将軍ウシャリホヒブ国土調査天学黄金二次昼夜六時二遊曼荼羅家五国修上上位昇誕各位英国上修明家供養他法十万六分即位直時検討本国本直協業舎利法国羅国土長寿尿税功徳将軍仏師舎利法被国上修十奇妙座式市長白国弱オムシャリ下領賓が愚名市長聖書宗長長や六時水和慶音五音年長五根公力七宝大文那小道文尿税東方合同修上門税音に開出年仏年法戦争舎利法尿物医師長実税祭法省少々医者が非部国土無三幕宗舎利法合部国土商務三幕道司名画教実税所宗長改税阿弥陀仏抑量法音川流園芸少佐舎利法非部国土未付水道小法五十牛法ラモ水未明音非尿百戦中学同時空差音税音社会事年上念仏念法念相死心舎利法合部国土長寿尿税功徳将軍
Reverend Fujimoto will now give his Dharma talk.
Good morning again, everyone. A couple of weeks ago was our Ho'onko service honoring the death memorial of Shindan Shonin, and at that time we considered his words a very famous, very well-known quote from Shindan Shonin, and it went like this: "Even a good person attains birth in the Pure Land. How much more so the evil person?" And so, thinking about that service and that quote, I was remembering a story that was in the book from Reverend Fujimura, Bunyo Fujimura Sensei. And so I went to look for that story again, and I wanted to share that with you, as I remember feeling touched by that story. So I wanted to share this with you as it connects to the same quote that we explored during our Ho'onko service. So this story is about two brothers, young children in a young family, and so the two brothers were getting close to bringing home their report cards from school, and the older brother was very mindful and diligent, and he was a good student. He would always bring home a very nice report card from the school, reflecting how well he did in his studies. And the younger brother, he was more of a mischief maker, playing around a little bit more, not studying as he should, and enjoying life. So he always struggled in class. So the mother knew that it was getting close to the time when report cards would be brought out, and so she went to the father and asked him to speak to the younger son, so he would try a little bit harder and try to bring home better grades than he had been doing. So the father sat down with the younger son that evening and told him that he plays around a little bit too much. He should settle down and try a little bit harder in his studies, try to bring home better grades than he has been. And he told him this time, if you don't bring home better grades, you don't need to come home. It's okay. So the day that the grades came out, the older son came home smiling, handed his report card to the mother, and as usual, he had very high grades from the school, very high scores. And so he was very happy, got his snacks, and the mother was happy that he had brought home very successful grades. And there's always kind of a warm feeling, when you make your parents happy, and so maybe kind of a comfort level for both mother and the older son as he had come home with these good grades. So then the younger son, he didn't come home, and it was getting close to dinner time. So the mother had prepared the meal, and then he told the father, "Why don't you sit down? The food is ready." And the father told him, "Why don't you start? I'll be right back." And quietly, he slipped out the back door of the house and wanted to go and find his younger son. So there's only one path from the house that would be taken to get to the school, and he knew that path, and it would go along the side of a stream that ran nearby. So he's walking along the stream, along the path towards the school, and it was dark. But eventually there was an opening, and he could see outline his son sitting by the water, sitting by a tree facing the water. So he walked over there and put his hand on his son's shoulder, startled his son a little bit, and he looked up at his father. And the father said, "Let's go home, son. It's dinner time." And the son looked up at his father and shook his head and just turned and looked back at the water where he had been staring. So the father told him, "I know how you feel. I want you to come home. Let's go." So he took his son's hand and had helped him to get up, and they walked home together, quietly, but they walked home together. So the father was very happy that his older son could do so well at school, but he went out of his way this time to find his son, knowing how he would feel, knowing that he felt he disappointed his parents, disappointed his father, and was told not to come home. So he didn't want to come home and felt kind of ashamed. And so still, he brought his father brought him home. And so this is kind of the hallmark of what this quote means, right? Again, in the quote, even a good person attains birth in the Pure Land. How much more so an evil person? So awakening in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, awakening is not a test or an achievement. The hallmark of our Jodo Shinshu Buddhism and the Nembutsu path is universal, infinite compassion. So this is not a path for the elite. Okay? It's a path for all beings to be included and welcomed and accepted just as we are. I like that. So this is the path of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, and as we read this quote from Shinran Shonin, it shows us the direction of our Nembutsu path. It shows us the type of compassion that Shinran Shonin is addressing, not a compassion that we try to be, but the compassion of Amida, moving towards all beings, including everyone, accepting, welcoming everyone. And so this is the compassion of Amida, the compassion of our Nembutsu path. Please join me once again as I read this very famous quote. Even a good person attains birth in the Pure Land. How much more so the evil person? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Okay, thank you again for joining us for this Shotsuki service for this month. I'd like to thank everyone for being here. I'd like to thank everyone who contributed. Our chairpersons for today's service, the new Sloth family who has joined us today, and everyone who has helped to set up for the service, preparing the flowers on the Onaijin, bringing the osonaya fruits, obokban, video crew, and everybody who's involved in editing and splicing and doing all the things we need to do to get the service links to you. So there are a number of people involved, and they are all very much appreciated to get our services out to everyone. And so thank you. At this time, I will prepare our incense offering, so please do the same at your homes as you have set up to do, and come up and offer incense as we conclude our service. Please join me one more time for the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Our thanks to Reverend Fujimoto for his Dharma talk and for starting the service with the Kansho, the ringing of the bell. Thanks also to the December Toban for flowers, offerings. Thanks also to Mr. Kevin Iwamura for the video photography and editing of this service. Should you wish to make a donation to the temple, this can be done through our temple website. Thank you all again for being with us today. Naman Dabzu. Naman Dabzu. Naman Dabzu. Naman Dabzu.